Hello everyone. I was at the 1,000 yard gun range yesterday. Posted a video where I was shooting the Palmetto AR-10s. I got a 16-inch and a 20-inch, and I also shot the SCAR. And I posted a video, and one of my viewers posted a great question in the comments. Which one do I like better, the 16-inch or the 20-inch? Okay. So first of all, let's talk about what I did in case you didn't see the video. Now this is at 1,000 yards. Okay. Um, I at the end of the day, this was like the last shooting that I did, right? After having spent about 150 rounds of Freedom Munitions 308, 150 grains, I finally got out of 7 shots, 7 out of 8, right? You can see them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in 11 inches at 1,000 yards. Okay, so that is a 1.1 MOA. The 8th one landed way down here, and I know I jerked it. I saw it move. I know I pulled one of those shots, so that had to be this one. So even with this one that I pulled, all right, and I probably pulled it just a little bit, but it just in the scope it looked like a lot. So even with this 8th one down here, that's a total of 25 inches. All right, so that's still a 2.5 MOA at 1,000 yards. Now I'm going to say this to you guys: I did not think it would be possible to get a competition level group, because if you look at competition shooters that have like a $3,000 bolt guns and with the 28-inch barrels, and the the scopes that go up to like 40 magnification, the competition shooters that not the national level, but the competition shooters in this state, when I look at how they do on average, they're usually getting about 10 to 12 inches. Okay. So, and that's with like a $3,000 gun, right, or more, and probably more, $5,000 with the scope on it. So I'm able to keep up with them, okay, using this Palmetto budget AR-10. This is the PA-10 Gen 3, and a $500 scope. Okay, so this is a $500 5 to 25 by 56 SLX first focal plane. Okay, so. Now, let me say this, but the question is now, do I like the 16-inch better or do I like the 20-inch better? This group over here that you see here, right, this 7 out of 8, 1.1 MOA at 1,000 yards, I got with the 20-inch using this big-ass scope here, right? That's what I used to get that group. And the benefit of the... So here's the thing. Is it what we're trying to figure out here? The whole point of this video is I'm trying to decide: is it the reason why I got this group because of barrel length, or is it because of the scope of more magnification, right? Because this scope here on the 20-inch is a 5 to 25. This one over here on the 16-inch is a 1 to 10. Okay, so let me say this: I tried many times. I probably wasted about 60 rounds. I could not hit anything. I could not get on the paper at 1,000 yards, and I could not even get on the paper at 850 yards. Now at 550 yards, man, the thing was a tack driver. Okay, I was shooting these steel targets. Now they were heavy. The plates were like almost like 20-25 pounds. So sometimes it took more than one hit to push them over, but it was like every shot was like on the target. So at 550 yards, right, 550 yards, you can own 550 yards with a 16-inch AR-10 with a 1 to 10 scope on it. You will absolutely own it. I also shot it with the SCAR, which had the ACOG, which was a 3 to 5 magnification. I was just as good with it, but it was a little bit harder. Mainly, the holding points. Basically, the target was smaller. The lines were thinner on the ACOG, so it was a little bit harder. When I got on the ACOG, it's like, okay, I think I can get this. With the 1 to 10, right? And it's not a rifle issue; it's a scope issue. With the 1 to 10, it's like I know I'm going to get it every single time at 550 yards. Okay, so 550 yards, you own it. Okay, you own it with the AR-10 with a 1 to 10 scope on it. Okay. Now, when I went to 850, I could not get any hits. I could not spot the impacts, and spotting the impacts is a really important thing because. First of all, the ammunition I was using, Freedom Munitions, 150 grain. The first time I was shooting that grain at that distance, the last time I was there, I was shooting the 147 grains. So this time I'm using the 150s, which are a little bit hotter. I ran it through the chronograph. And what's happening is with the 20 inch with the 525, like I got out of, like I started off at 1,000 yards. I picked the target, not the paper, just a steel target over there. Took one shot. I could spot the impact. I dialed back the magnification to 15, so I had a wide enough field of view. I took a shot. I saw the impact. Took it, you know, I mean, I might have taken 2, 3, but within a couple of shots, 3, 4, 5 shots, I could spot the impacts and I could get consistent hits on that spot. So I knew my dial-up was 12 mils with 150 grain Freedom munitions. I kind of screwed up with the wind hold because the wind kind of really fooled me because it felt like there was no left or right wind. It felt like the wind was coming straight in. So I didn't believe I needed to hold left or right. And I didn't actually believe it until I took a couple of shots here. Those are the ones with the circles, the black circles, right? I saw that, you know, like I'm holding here and I started seeing that I was drifting to the right. I did it twice. So 2 hits here, so another 2 hits down here on this paper. And then I finally believed that I needed to hold 2 mils to the left, okay, 2 mils to the left. And then that's when the bullets basically, you know, centered up on, you know, didn't really center up on the target, but basically I was able to get all 8 hits on the paper. Okay, so that was, it shouldn't have taken me that long. I should have been more. I should have known that even though I can't feel the wind, you know, at 1,000 yards, that, you know, there might be something happening downrange. It just might be so slight, 2 miles per hour, I can't feel it. So that was a mistake on my part, not believing that I really needed to hold a little bit to the left, and it was such a fine difference that I really couldn't see. It took me a while to realize the impacts were just impacting just a little bit to the right. But anyway, the point here I'm trying to make is I believe, I know that having more magnification allowed me to spot the impacts and get on target. Okay, so with the 1 to 10 on the 16-inch, could not spot the impacts, could not adjust. I hit 0 donuts. I got absolutely nothing at 850 yards to 1,000 yards. No, at 550 I owned, right? I could hit everything I wanted to, but at 850 yards could not hit anything. So the question now, right, and I don't know the answer to this, is it purely a scope issue? Is it purely a magnification issue where if I take the scope off of the 525 off of the 20-inch and put it on the 16-inch, are my results going to be, you know, almost as good or just as good? A possibility here, right, is that at that distance, right, at 850 to 1,000 yards, the bullets have already gone subsonic. Okay, so the question here is, okay, the 16-inch out of the muzzle is going slower. Okay, it's going slower. The same ammunition, it's going slower just because it's a shorter barrel. Okay, so at 550 yards doesn't make a difference, but somewhere between, you know, let's say 600 yards and 1,000 and 850 yards, it's going to go subsonic. It's going to go subsonic a little bit sooner. So is it possible that because of the 16-inch barrel, right, that because it's going subsonic a little bit sooner, it destabilizes by the time it gets to 850 yards? Okay, so I don't know that. I'm not going to know that until I put the 525 scope on that and test it out at that distance. So those are 2 possibilities. One possibility is that it's purely a scope issue, that because I couldn't spot the impacts, I couldn't correct, that's why I couldn't hit my target, you know, at 850 to 1,000 yards. The other possibility is that even if I put the scope on it, because the velocity starts off slower in a 16-inch barrel, that by the time it gets to 850 yards, it's starting to destabilize. And maybe that's the reason why I couldn't really spot because occasionally I would see a dust cloud, but it never seemed to be like, because here's the thing, you gotta fire 1 or 2 shots and you gotta see that, okay, I've got 2 shots that are impacting on the same spot. Okay, now I know my elevation, now I know my you know, my wind adjustment. Okay, so you gotta see like 2 shots land on the same spot, and then what you do is, okay, great, now I'm going to take 10 shots on the paper target and see what kind of a group I can get using that data that I've gathered. So I was not able to do that with this setup here. So Again, now to answer the question, which one do I like better? Do I like the 16-inch or the 20-inch? Okay, so let me tell you guys, the 16-inch with the LPVO, much lighter, much more pleasant to carry around. If you know, out to 600 yards, I will take this every time just because it's lighter. Okay, it's a lot more pleasant to carry. Just moving around, just pulling it out of the truck, getting it on the table, it's just a lot easier. But as far as like if I know I'm going to be shooting 850 or 800 yards plus, listen, this is what's going to get the job done, man. This is what's getting the job done right now. Okay, so it's an extra 2 pounds, and that 2 pounds really adds up because you got an extra pound in barrel length. Okay, that's an extra pound, and that's the far end, and you got an extra pound in scope over here. So that's 2 extra pounds. That's the difference between these two rifles. You know, that one comes out to about 10 pounds. This one comes to about 12 pounds. So that 2 extra pounds, you know, really, it really becomes very uncomfortable when you're moving around and doing stuff like that. So that's the question. Okay, that's the question. Is it purely a scope issue and I couldn't see the targets, that's why I couldn't hit it, or is it more than that? Is it the barrel length is actually making the difference? Are the bullets really destabilizing by the time they get to 850 yards, and that's why I can't get hits? I don't know the answer to that. The only way I'm going to know is at some point I got to get back there, put this scope on the 16-inch, and see what I can do. Now it's like a 4 to 4.5 hour drive each way, so it's like almost like 8 hours of driving in a day. So I'm probably not going to go back there anytime soon, but I will go back there one day, and I will practice it. Now part of me is a little stubborn. I mean, part of me is like, well, maybe if I just work with this a little bit better, I can, a little bit longer, I might be able to spot the impacts. So I'm a little, sometimes I can be a little bit stubborn like that. At this location, I don't have an option of going to like 700 or 750 or 800. Basically, it goes from 550 yards up to 850, right? There's a valley in between where it kind of dips down, so you can't set up any targets in between. So it's 550, then you jump up to 850, and then you go from there. You got 850, 900, 950, 1,000 yards. Okay, so that's how that range is set up. Yeah, it would be nice if I could, try to go in that, 650 and then 750, and and then try the 850, but that's just not an option. Okay, so again, which one do I like better? Absolutely love the 16-inch. If I know I'm going to be inside of 600 yards, okay, absolutely, I'll take that every time because I know it will do the job. Okay, and it's a much lighter gun. But if I'm going to be shooting 700 yards plus, the 20-inch with that big ass heavy scope on it, that's proven, man. That is absolutely proven. Okay, so I guess for now it's different tool for a different job. Okay, that's where I'm at with this. Thanks for watching, and by all means drop comments. I love it when you guys ask me questions. Try to do the best I can to answer them. Talk to y'all soon. That means I go up. Just 8 mils. videos.